Hello and welcome to the virtual worship service of Buckman Bridge Unitarian Universalist Church. Just call us BBUUC. My name is Lee Plumb, and I am your worship leader for today. If you would like to know more about our church, please go to bbuuc.org. And if you would like to know more about our faith, please go to uua.org. No matter what, you're welcome here. Our opening words today and chalice lighting will be performed by Kirsten Williams, who is a member of our chaplains team.
Rivers do not drink their own water, trees do not eat their own fruit. The sun does not shine on itself, and flowers do not spread their fragrance for themselves. Living for others is a rule of nature. We are all born to help each other, no matter how difficult it is. Life is good when you are happy, but much better when others are happy because of you. Pope Francis.
I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know, 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 I know this rose will open. I know my fear. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose. I know this rose. I know this rose. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose. I know this rose. I know this rose. I know this rose. I know my fear. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose. I know this rose. I know this rose. I know my fear. I know my fear. I know my soul will unfurl my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose. I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. Will unfurl its wings. I know this rose. I know this rose. I know this rose. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. Will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open, 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 fear will open, open, soul will unfold its wings. I know this rose will open.
Our story for all ages will be performed today by our Director of Religious Education, Chris Jarman. Chris, what's in the Wonder Box today?
Hi, Lee. I don't know. Let's check and see. Do you have a guess what's in the Wonder Box today? Let's look. Huh. It's empty. Or is it? This box is full of something. We just can't see it. Do you know what it's full of? Air, oxygen, the stuff we breathe. Today, I want to share with you a story I've adapted called All in a Day by Cynthia Ryland that speaks about the wonder and awe each day brings, the importance of remembering to breathe, really breathe, all the way down into your bellies. First, let's take a breath together. Are you ready? Hold it. Feel it all the way down to your belly button. Let it nourish you. Let it all go. Today is a perfect piece of time to live a life, to plant a seed, to watch the sun go by. Just breathe. A day starts early, work to do beneath a brand new sky. A day brings hope and kindness too. A day is all its own. You can make a wish and start again. Just breathe. You can find your way back home. Every bird and every tree and every living thing loves the promise in a new day, loves what it can bring if we just breathe. There is a faith in the morning time, and there is a belief in the afternoon. Evening will come whispering and shine its bright round moon. Breathe. A day can change just everything, given half a chance. Rain could show up at your door and teach you how to dance. And the past is sailing off, and the future is still fast asleep. A day is all you have to be. It's all you get to keep. Underneath the great big sky, the earth is all a spin, and this day will soon be over, and it won't come back again. So breathe. Live it well. Make it count. Fill it up with you. The day's all yours. It's waiting now. See what you can do. And remember to breathe. What a beautiful story. I wonder, have you ever been around a little kid, a toddler, like a baby brother, sister, or cousin, and they just fell apart and started crying? And for that fact, have you ever fell apart and started crying? What's one of the first things we ask? Do you need a nap? Are you tired? See, every day is a gift, but in order to do our best, to play or work long and hard, we have to have balance between resting and doing, breathing and acting. Just as we can't enjoy a sunrise or a sunset without the night, neither can we play or do the work we're called to do without balancing it with self-care. May you find time for naps this week and every week. And with that, our story is told. Until next time.
And now for our church's joys and concerns. We light a candle of concern, asking everyone to keep Sandra M. in your thoughts as her daughter Stephanie deals with treatment for breast cancer. We light another candle for Liz B.'s partner Emmett, who is recovering from surgery. We light a candle of celebration for Michael and Tara C., who celebrate their wedding anniversary on July 22nd. We light a candle of concern for these challenging times, when we need one another more than ever, but human touch needs to be limited. Remember, physical isolation does not have to mean social isolation. We can remain interconnected by participating in the many activities held through our Zoom platform, services, on our YouTube channel, and by staying in touch with one another through calls, cards, emails, texts, social media, and visual connections through Zoom, Skype, FaceTime, and other methods. This is a time of challenge, and together we can help make it manageable for ourselves and for our world. So let's light a special candle for staying away and connected. We now light a final candle for those joys and concerns that must remain unspoken and in our hearts. Thank you. The purpose of the church is to encourage all who gather here to grow more generous in spirit and in action. While our sanctuary is closed, we remind ourselves that our church is more than just a building where we meet. We are the congregation. And even in times of difficulty, when we aren't able to be with one another, we remain committed to supporting our mission and ministry, our staff and facility, and our shared values. During the month of July, we are contributing all of the funds contributed in our offertory through our PayPal giving fund to UU The Vote. You can give through the link found in our YouTube channel. UU The Vote is a non-partisan faith initiative to engage our neighbors, educate our communities, mobilize voters, and rally around key ballot initiatives. UU The Vote supports congregations and UU organizations encountering voter suppression and engaging in spiritually grounded, values-based issue conversations with voters in their communities. This is a grassroots campaign that relies on grassroots support. Together, we're going to #VoteLove and bring our passion to the polls. Thank you for contributing. Reverend Tracie Barrett lives in Winter Springs, Florida, with her partner and their 2 cats. She graduated from Meadville Lombard Theological School in 2017 and served for 3 years as a half-time consulting minister for the UU congregation of Lake County. She considers herself a UU evangelist, sharing the good news of our liberal faith with the world. Reverend Tracie Barrett, the pulpit is yours.
Good morning, Buckman Bridge. It is a delight to be with you in technology land and be able to share this with you today. I hope you all are well, and hopefully next time I can be with you live, but for now, here we are. My father taught me to track hurricanes as a child. He felt this was an essential skill for me growing up in Florida. Now, this was before the days of fancy computer models and stuff. We would go to the grocery store at the start of hurricane season and pick up our maps and head home. At the first inkling of a storm, he'd have me sit down and track the coordinates, mark the wind speed, and then connect my lines. We'd sit and discuss possible tracks the storm would take and why. As time moved forward and the news stations got computer models that could show the tracking, we stopped using the paper maps. But we would still discuss the movement and potential movements of the storms. I learned about what makes a hurricane wobble and how that can affect the track. And by what in my eyes was a special kind of daddy magic, he always knew where the storms were going to go before the weather reporters did. It became a ritual throughout the years to call my dad and ask him what he thought of the latest disturbance, because he was right, always. He only got scared and talked about evacuating twice, Andrew and Katrina. And both discussions were held while both storms were still Category 1s. After he died, we had our first big hurricane in a few years, and I honestly didn't know what to do. My anxiety got the better of me. I walked around my house carrying my phone, wanting to call him, but knowing I couldn't. Should I pack my family and leave? Should I just hunker down and stay put? I tried watching the models, but the fear and the grief took over and I couldn't focus. Finally, after taking a breath, I knew what I had to do. So we packed up and went to my mom's house. We did the prep work there, and we settled in for the long watch with one television tuned to the local 24-hour news station with the updates. That night I did what he would have done, and I stood in the doorway to witness the eye pass over. I was afraid, and I was at peace. Weird, right? But as I stood there, watching the trees blow first in one direction, then stop, then blow in the other direction, I knew that we were as prepared as we could be, and that we would be okay. There was cleanup to do, as there always was, but we were together, and we were alive. When this pandemic first started overseas, I was keeping an eye on it, partly because I had a cruise scheduled at the end of February, but partly because I could feel it in my bones that this was going to be serious. Different from Ebola or H1N1 or mad cow, all diseases and breakouts that I watched on the news as they spread. Something about this one felt different. I often wonder now if this is how my dad felt after the bigger storms, something you just know and hope you're wrong about. I watched the news in horror from my stateroom on the ship, knowing that things were getting serious, and I wasn't sure what we were facing when we returned. I began watching the news in earnest at home, reading the articles, listening to the reporters and the scientists. And then I had to stop because my anxiety was taking over my ability to focus on what we needed to do to prepare. So I did what I know to do when something big is coming. I began tracking, and I prepared my home. The preparing part was a bit easier. We were able to get to the store to get most of what we needed. Toilet paper was as elusive for us as it was for everyone. For a while, life continued on. My partner continued to go to work until the theme parks closed down. I worked from home thanks to a broken right foot, which prevented me from driving into the office. And I began tracking the numbers. Not obsessively, but I would check the numbers twice a day. I turned the news off. I chose which articles to read and when. And once the decisions were made to close, I did what my father taught me to do in waiting for the storm to hit. I rested. Now that may seem odd. There's still so much to do, right? Well, yes and no. Since this isn't like a hurricane which comes and then goes, the prep work now seems nonstop. The constant wondering of when we will get back to normal and worrying about loved ones. But this isn't a sprint, and it isn't even a marathon. This is a long slog. We will be at this new normal for a while. According to scientists, we'll be here for quite a bit, so we need to take those opportunities to rest, or we'll never survive. Going back to my father and how he handled hurricanes, once the prep work was done around the house, tree limbs picked up, the pumps put into place in the backyard, all loose items brought inside, water jugs filled and food cooked, he would go check on the neighbors. I remember one year a group of neighbors going around with someone's box trailer and picking up loose branches as they trimmed troublesome trees. When he came back inside, he would go take a nap, a long and well-earned nap. And I used to wonder why, especially because the winds were just picking up and the rain would start. Why was he sleeping when the storm was starting? Because he knew he couldn't do anything at that point. He needed to rest to be able to face what was coming later. Often with the bigger storms that came over us, we would lose power, and then the lower levels would flood because the pumps don't work if there's no power. In Florida, in the summer, in a hurricane with no electricity is not a fun place to be. There's no sleeping at that point. During the eye of the storms, he would often rush out to check on neighbors and see how they were doing, try to do any quick repairs he could, and then come right back in to rest until it was over. We are being given an opportunity to rest. Not everyone, and I know that. But for those of us who can, we should, because we will need that time of rest to face what is next, because that's still unknown. We have no idea what our world will look like on the other side of this. We have no idea what help our neighbors are going to need, what help we might need, what work we will be called to do. Barbara J. Peskin says, often we are found in our grief and comforted, calmed by some kindness, brought alive again by beauty that catches us undefended. Even when the sun is most thin and far, even at the hour the storm is at its height, renewal nests with sorrow. Love abides even beyond anger, beyond death. We are held in an embrace invisible but infinite, moving with all creation, between wholeness and fragmentation, moving always toward the one. Love, do not let us go. Friends, if you are able, take this time to rest. It doesn't mean just sleeping, although it can. It means turning off the news if it's making you anxious. Choose when you're going to read or listen. It means finding ways to ease your soul and your heart and give both a break. It means finding a small thing to do to take care of yourself and those in your immediate circle. For many, according to my Facebook feed, that seems to be baking, or learning a new craft, or picking up an old one. For some, that means spending time planting gardens or adopting pets. For others, this could mean going to bed earlier and sleeping in a bit. For me, it means being more intentional about my days and my activity levels. I have found over the past couple months that other than a few shows, I've stopped watching television as much. I'm back to reading more, knitting more, and just sitting. Not necessarily in meditation, but just sitting in silence, taking in the sounds around me and outside of my home, noticing that the neighbor diagonally behind me plays music outside on his back porch and thankfully has the same taste in music as I do. Noticing that the neighbor next door calls in the cats he's trapped, fixed, and released when it's time for food. And yes, he does this by name. It's noticing my own body and how it moves through this time of great anxiety and stress and recognizing its needs and fulfilling them as best I can. What does that look like for you? What does resting in this great unknown of what happens next mean for you? If you find yourself weary and exhausted, I encourage you to set down your burdens and rest. It doesn't make them go away, but it does allow you a time to pause. If it's helpful, find someone you can share with, as burdens are lighter when they're shared. There is a love holding us. Let us rest in that love and be held. That love is community. That love is our faith, however we manifest it within our beloved Unitarian Universalism. That love is each other. That love is bigger than us and is small enough to be us part of every speck of information in ourselves. And now, of course, we have more than COVID to deal with. Racial inequality is on clear display for all to see these days. As we join that fight too, it is important to remember to take breaks when possible, especially those who are activists. The work is hard. It will take all of us giving each other breaks when we can to bend this arc towards justice. This is the thing. I'm not going to sit here and give empty platitudes that everything is going to work out. We will hopefully never go back to the normal that once was. My hope is that once we are through this, and we as a world will eventually get through this, my hope is that our world becomes kinder, gentler, and more caring to those around us who are on the edges. My hope is that this is an awakening for us. That work is a ways away still. For now, our job is to survive, to take care of those among us who need us, to keep them safe, and to rest when we can. That resting will help when it's time to go out and assess the damage from the storm, clean up, and help our neighbors. May you be able to find ways to rest in the midst of this great unknown. May you be safe. May you be well. May you feel the love that is holding us and be held in that love. Amen. May it be so. Blessed be. Thank you.
Give up the fight for some other moment, some other life than here and now.
I'm just gonna breathe.
Give up the longing for some other world, the wishing for other choices to make, other songs to sing, other bodies, other ages, other countries, other stakes.
Till I touch the sorrow 'neath the rage. I'm just gonna breathe.
Purge the past. Forgive the future. For each comes too soon. Surrender only to this life, this one, this moment here and now. Surrender only to this day, this hour, this breath. Not because it does not constantly break your heart, but because it too beckons with beauty, startles with delight. If only we can keep waking up to this gift. This is the gift we have been given. These body clothes, this heartbreak, it's ours. This pulse, it's ours. This breath, this light, these friends, this hope. All we can do is remember ourselves here.
I'm just gonna breathe.
All a part of it all. Still growing together.
I'm just gonna breathe. Until I'm glad to breathe here for a while. We'll give up the fight for some other love. Just hope in the way that you are living. We'll give up the fight for some other love. It's changing, no longer resisting. Come on and breathe, breathe, breathe. Come on and breathe, breathe, breathe. It's gonna breathe, breathe, breathe. Come on and breathe, breathe, breathe. Give up the fight, breathe, breathe. For some other life, breathe, breathe. Give up the fight, breathe, breathe. For some other life, breathe, breathe. I'm just gonna breathe.
As we extinguish our chalice, our closing words are: peace does not mean to be in a place where there is no noise, trouble, or hard work. It means to be in the midst of those things and still be calm in your heart. Namaste, blessed be, and go in peace. Thank you for coming.